So before I get into what I thought about Justice League, I just want to briefly go over a few thoughts on what I had about the previous four films in the DC Extended Universe. I think that that's important to go over just because I think it'll help contextualize why I feel the way that I do about this movie. And so I'll just go in order. I'll start off with Man of Steel, and that came out a while ago, 2013, and I really liked it. I know that there are a lot of problems that people have with it, and I recognize a lot of them. But I just think that it's a lot of fun to watch. I enjoy the action quite a bit. I like the characters in this movie, and I think that Michael Shannon is awesome to watch as General Zod. I don't really mind all of the stupid stuff in this movie, like how Zod is able to master his powers in 5 seconds, or how Superman kills, or how the main plot doesn't even really make that much sense, and the priest scene is kind of weird. But I don't mind any of that stuff. I understand why people don't like this film, but I'm still able to really enjoy it. For Batman vs Superman, I don't like it that much. I think that it's okay at best. I like all the characters in Man of Steel, but when they come back in this movie, there's something off about it. Everybody just seems to not be acting smart or something. I'm not too sure what it is. Everyone is just kind of an idiot. The movie's boring and bland. I don't even buy into the central conflict between Batman and Superman. I didn't like Lex Luthor in this. I thought Jesse Eisenberg was giving the wrong kind of performance for that sort of character. Even if he wasn't in the movie, I would still have the problem between the Batman and Superman conflict because they just both feel like the same character. I think that Martha part at the end is very, very funny though. And I have PTSD flashbacks about Suicide Squad, and I really don't want to talk about it. Just know I hate it, and I wish I'd never seen it. One of my least favorite movies of all time. I think that Wonder Woman is incredibly overrated, and I don't really get why people like it. There's so many problems that outweigh all the stuff that I did like about it that I'm really shocked at how many people really liked this movie. I won't get into them now because I actually plan on doing a longer review on Wonder Woman later. But just for now, know that I didn't like it very much. So for the DCEU, I am 1 for 4, only liking Man of Steel. So how is Justice League? Is this going to be 2 for 5? Unfortunately not. It is 1 for 5. Man of Steel is the only movie I like still. Justice League is not good. I think that a part of the problem lies in it had a very troubled production when Zack Snyder had to step away due to a family emergency, and it was taken over by Joss Whedon, and you feel that these two people had very different ideas about what they wanted this movie to be, and both of them got smushed into the final product that I ended up watching. Because of that, not just because of that, but that is a major reason, that is why I didn't like this movie. I didn't even expect much out of it, just because all of the stuff with the production, and it didn't meet any expectations. It was just bizarre. I don't think that there was anything particularly good about this movie. The best that I can say is that some parts are somewhat enjoyable, but everything in this movie had something wrong with it. I'd say that I enjoyed the action the best, just because, something was happening and it helped distract from the god-awful story and the clunky and awkward dialogue that was mishmashed from multiple writers. But even the action, it felt boring at most of the time. And, some parts of it, you have that beautiful Zack Snyder visual flair, but most of it was just bright lights and noise. It just didn't work for me, and there was a fair amount of comedy that was attempted that didn't fit in with the rest of this movie at all. It very tonally inconsistent, and this movie, it's just a mess when it comes to everything. I don't understand why people think that this is a step in the right direction for DC. I think that this is a pretty big step backwards, actually. I would say that Wonder Woman was a step in the right direction. I didn't even like Wonder Woman, but I think it took a step in the right direction for where DC should start going. It was a little bit more lighthearted. It tried to focus on characters, and, I didn't like it very much, but, that's for another time. This Justice League it's a step back. Like I said, I don't understand it. I probably like it less than everybody else. I know that a lot of people think that this is just fine. Like, there's some good, there's some bad, but it evens out. I think that there's so much more bad than there is good that this just is really a bad movie. I could go into a lot of details about this, like how distracting the bad visual effects are, which that doesn't always bother me, but when nothing else is interesting, then I have to start paying attention to something, otherwise I'm going to be bored out of my mind. And so all the effects in this movie were very noticeable. I think that there are definitely people that are going to enjoy this, just like how there were people who liked Suicide Squad. There's even some people who like Batman vs Superman. And you know what? If you're able to watch this and enjoy it, that's awesome. Don't let me take away from that. This is not a movie for me at all. This movie does not seem to focus on character or story. Well, let me rephrase that a tad. This movie doesn't care at all about the story. It tries to do stuff with the characters, but I just don't like the characters in this movie. None of them have really been set up for me to want to like them. I thought that some of the stuff with Cyborg was interesting, but they didn't really go into it, and so he just felt like a flat character to me. And I didn't like the Flash, even though they were really trying hard, but I felt that they felt flat with that. Not a huge fan of Batman in this movie. I like Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne and Batman. I think that he's a good choice. I just didn't like the character this time. I liked him better in Batman vs Superman, and I think that I would go as far as to say that I think that I like Batman vs Superman a little bit more than this. I haven't seen it in a long time, and I don't know if that's really true. If I were to watch both of these movies again, Justice League may end up coming out on top, but as of right now, Batman vs Superman is just a little bit better. Yeah, Justice League is just it's a very big disappointment. I wish it were much better. I wanted to enjoy it. I want to enjoy all the movies that I see, quite frankly. I don't want to see anything fail. I want to like all the movies that are out there, except Suicide Squad. Fuck that. Yeah, this movie's just disappointing. I think that there's definitely an audience for it. People will like this movie. I certainly am not one of them. I did not like this movie at all, which is a shame. I'm going to give Justice League a 5 out of 20. I wouldn't recommend seeing this to anybody, even if you're one of the people who has liked it in the past, just because this movie doesn't, I don't know, there's something about it that really rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know exactly what it is yet. I'd have to let it sit for a little bit longer with me in order to figure that out, but I didn't like this movie at all. I don't imagine that many people will either. Like I said, there will be a few out there. Anyway, those are my thoughts on Justice League. Thank you so much for watching, and please be sure to like and subscribe. I got many more reviews coming out pretty soon in the future, so stay tuned for all that good stuff, and I'll see you next time.